Shalom. In today's world, it is not difficult to find person after person speaking about preparedness and getting ready for an emergency, war, or when SHTF happens. And some even go as far as mentioning the biblical prophecies. I do believe in learning basic survival skills and preparing physically. As Yahusha HaMashiach has said that those who endure, the same shall be saved. Yet, no one actually talks about the true preparedness that YAHUAH and all his servants and prophets spoke on. True preparedness is spiritual. It is not fleshly and carnal. You can prepare and stock up on 500 years of food, with all the guns and ammo and knives and all forms of gadgets and tools you can think of. But if YAHUAH is against you, you will perish. None of your preparedness matters if you do not follow YAHUAH and trust in Him to lead you, and most of all, to preserve and save you. At the end of the day, your guns, your knives, even your skills will not save you. It is only through Yeshua that we can obtain salvation. This is why I would like to share a message on how to prepare and strengthen our spirit, and in turn our mind. Spiritual preparedness should be the first and foremost priority of our life. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against evil and spiritual wickedness in high places. This message will be based on Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 18, which teaches men to put on the whole armor of YAHUAH. Through precepts, we will gain understanding and see that a woman needs to put on the whole armor of YAHUAH as well, and why this is important for her and her family. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 18 states, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in YAHUAH and in the power of His might. Put on the whole armor of Yah, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of Yah, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the besorah of peace. Above all, taking the shield of belief, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take the helmet of Yeshua, and the sword of the Ruach, which is the word of YAHUAH, praying always with all prayers and supplication in the Ruach, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all Kadeshayim." In the Word, we have all the instructions and tools necessary to prepare ourselves for the day of evil. Not only for the day of YAHUAH, which is already prophesied and appointed to be revealed at a certain time, but any day which we live in, for all the days are evil. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 34, Yahusha states, "Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof." In Ephesians chapter 5, verses 14 through 17, it states, "Wherefore he says, Awake you that sleep, and arise from the dead, and Mashiach shall give you light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of Yah is." We are in the days of evil, and the only way we can endure to the end is if our spirit is connected to YAHUAH and His truth. Because another precept mentioned many times by YAHUAH and confirmed by His Son is that His word will endure forever. Because YAHUAH is the word, and He is everlasting and does not change. This is why our armor needs to be YAHUAH, who will never fade away, whose strength never fails, who does not change with the times, and whose word comes and shall come to pass in due season. There is no weapon that can take YAHUAH and His Son and their angels out, for they are all everlasting. This is why our spirit needs to be armored as well. Our loins need to be girt about with truth, so that our strength and faith do not waver. We must examine ourselves and make sure we are always rooted in the truth of YAHUAH. A breastplate of righteousness is much greater than any bulletproof vest. The shield of faith and the sword of the Ruach, which is the word of YAHUAH, are greater than any shield or sword of this world. It is the shield of your belief in YAHUAH that will help you to endure. For we fight not against flesh and blood. We fight disobedience. We fight the evil temptations of Satan. We fight evil. We fight unrighteousness and injustice and all those who despise and reject YAHUAH, our Elohim who we choose to serve. In Proverbs 31 verse 17 it states, "She girds her loins with strength and strengthens her arms." A woman too girds her loins with strength. And what kind of strength? The strength of the Torah, which is the only truth we have. YAHUAH alone is truth, for even His Son stated that man will deceive you. Our spirit has to be fervently seeking YAHUAH and always prepared with the armor of YAHUAH, so that when the enemy comes against us or our family, we know how to fight back. Not carnally, but spiritually. Not with emotions, but with truth, which is our strength, and the strength that can never be taken from us. How powerful is that? Your enemy can do no harm to you, for your shield of belief protects you. Our flesh is weak and corruptible, but our spirit, especially if it is connected to YAHUAH, is stronger than our flesh and reaps life everlasting if we sow good works to our spirit, hence spiritual preparedness. All these people of the world are sowing works to their flesh and temporary works. They are taking every single precaution to defend themselves and their family and have enough food for 30 years, but they lack understanding, not knowing what tomorrow will bring, when Yahusha already told us not to worry about tomorrow, yet they prepare for the next 30 years. They lack faith and belief, which we know is a shield for us, not knowing that YAHUAH gives and takes away, and therefore their possessions and preparedness is vain and useless. Because when you follow YAHUAH and serve Him, do you not understand that it is He and His Son and His angels that fight for you? Did not YAHUAH give Yasharel manna, which He sent them from the heavens every single morning? Did He not cause the water to flow from the rock when they were thirsty? Prepare your spirit, so that your flesh does not rule over you and cause you to err. YAHUAH gave Yasharel everything they needed, that even their shoes did not wear out for 40 years. But because their feet were not shod with the preparations of the Besorah of peace, but rather with rebelliousness and disobedience, they complained and tested YAHUAH and were tempted with flesh. In Sirach chapter 4 verse 28, it teaches us, "Strive for the truth unto death, and YAHUAH shall fight for you." If your loins are girt about with truth and strength, it means you are always ready to fight for the truth, because you know the word and believe it. As women, this is incredibly powerful, especially if we are married. How can you ever be a tower against death for your Adonai if your loins are not girt with strength, which we know only comes from YAHUAH and His Word? A woman can be strong too. According to the Word of YAHUAH, a woman is supposed to be strengthened, not with the wisdom of this world, which we know is foolishness to YAHUAH, but with the Spirit of YAHUAH, so that she can sow good works and bear the fruit of the Spirit. A virtuous woman girds her loins with strength and strengthens her arms. Why? So that she can be a tower against death for her Adonai and also for her children. Does not the Word teach us in Proverbs 14 verse 1 that every wise woman builds her house, but the foolish plucks it down with her hands? Wow! Even in this precept alone, we have much revealed to us. A woman that strengthens her arms has the ability to build her home or pluck it down. And this is not carnally. This is spiritually. A woman is not in authority or in control like her man, the head, but she also has an important control and authority in her home. She is supposed to be the regulator of order and balance just as much as her Adonai is. Not that she is equal to her Adonai, but because she is his helpmeet. And according to YAHUAH, this is actually a woman's role and duty, not to control and usurp authority over her man, but a woman has authority over her sons and daughters to teach them the truth of the Torah and make sure the Torah is written in their hearts so that they do not deviate from it and become disobedient and wicked. How can she do this if she doesn't know or follow the truth? If her loins are not girt with strength of the Torah, her strength will fail, and she will eventually pluck her own house down because she isn't spiritually strengthened or connected to YAHUAH. A woman's duty is to be virtuous, and a virtuous woman is strengthened by the truth, the shield of belief, a breastplate of righteousness, and a shield of the Torah, the Word, which she uses to defend and protect her home and family. A woman is supposed to be virtuous and filled with wisdom and strength. A woman can only be this way if she is obedient unto her Adonai and obedient unto YAHUAH. Just as a man is supposed to be a reflection of YAHUAH and his glory and power, a woman is supposed to be a reflection of her man, given she was literally created from him, not to be equal to him, but to be an understanding, quiet, and sensible helpmeet for him. A woman's speech and behavior must be rooted in the Holy Word of YAHUAH. In Proverbs 31, verses 25 through 27, it states, "Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the Torah of kindness. She looks well to the ways of her household, and eats not the bread of idleness." Again, this is not talking about carnal and physical clothing. This is talking about a woman's spirit. Just like we learn in 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 3 through 4, "Whose adorning let it be not that outward adorning of plaiting the hair, and of wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit." A virtuous woman clothes herself with strength and honor, which directly align with the armor of YAHUAH that is spoken of for the men. A man is supposed to put on the armor of YAHUAH, and so is the woman, both in their own respective ways. Is she not a helpmeet for her man? A help like unto himself? The man cannot fight all the battles of spiritual wickedness on his own. A virtuous woman fights for her family spiritually. She fights for the truth and that is why no evil will come upon her household, because in turn, YAHUAH will fight for them and protect them. In Sirach 36, verses 23 through 24, it states, "If there be kindness, meekness, and comfort in her tongue, then is not her man like other men? He that gets a woman begins a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest." A virtuous woman opens her mouth with wisdom and speaks the Torah of kindness. She doesn't open her mouth with vain opinions or senseless talk. Her feet are shod with the preparations of the Besorah of peace. That is why she knows how to look well after the ways of her household, both spiritually and physically, because her feet lead her on the path of uprightness and obedience, and her preparations are based on the Torah. A woman cannot speak with wisdom and kindness if her spirit is not rooted in the Holy Word of YAHUAH, for she doesn't know YAHUAH. Because to YAHUAH, a woman that has a meek and quiet spirit is of great price in His sight. If your feet do not walk in the holy ways of YAHUAH, then your feet walk on the wicked path of the world, of idleness, confusion, and corruption. A woman, too, needs to prepare spiritually so that she can stand against the wiles of the devil. Satan is crafty, and if your loins are not girt with strength, you will fall to his beguilement just like Yahuwah did. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, we prepare not only for the appointed day of YAHUAH, but for every day. For we already learned that every day is sufficient with its own evil thereof. This is very important for a woman, because if we read Proverbs 31, verses 10 through 12, it states, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her man safely trusts in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life." If you are a married woman, your man should be able to trust in you with his life. If you do not put on the whole armor of YAHUAH, you will eventually fail and be the foolish woman that plucks her own house down. Because without YAHUAH, you will never have strength or understanding, or a meek and quiet spirit. A virtuous woman fears YAHUAH and always remains in order. A woman is supposed to strengthen herself both physically and spiritually, so that she can handle and bear the burdens of her home, not entirely on her own, but as a helpmeet for her husband. As a woman and a wife, wouldn't you want to be prepared spiritually for everything? Physically, we can never prepare for everything, for we know not what YAHUAH will allow in our life and in the world. But spiritually, even though we may not know, we have our faith, our shield of belief, and our trust that YAHUAH will deliver us from all tribulation in His appropriate time. We do not serve YAHUAH in flesh. We can only serve and worship YAHUAH in spirit and in truth. If your husband has to be the only one strengthened physically, spiritually, is the only one rooted in the Word, and fighting all battles on his own, what good are you to him? In Proverbs chapter 12, verse 4, it states, "A virtuous woman is a crown to her man, but she that makes ashamed is as rottenness in his bones." In Sirach 26, verse 13, we get the same confirmation. The grace of a woman delights her man, and her discretion will fatten his bones. A virtuous woman fills her man with life, because he can safely trust in her, that she will do good to him all the days of her life. A woman that is not virtuous eats the bread of idleness. She is carnal and fleshly, and cares nothing about strengthening herself spiritually and putting on the armor of strength and honor. She is not wise in her speech. and becomes rottenness in her man's bones. Do you know what this means? That he is better off dead than being with you, because you bring shame to the home and take all the life from him. You are not being a righteous helpmeet to him. In Proverbs 11, verse 16, it also teaches us that a gracious woman retains honor. We have learned that a virtuous woman clothes herself with strength and honor. Her honor comes from her Yahuwah-fearing spirit, which allows her to open her mouth in wisdom and speak the Torah of kindness, which becomes her strength in the way that she guides her household. She speaks life to her man and her family, and through her good works, she retains honor. Even in Proverbs 31, verse 28, it states, "Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her man also, and he praises her." Scripture even said that her man is not like other men. He is blessed and taken care of and loved spiritually. There is nothing greater. For a virtuous woman, a silent and loving woman, is a gift of Yahuwah, who we all know is a spirit. This is why we must prepare our spirits, because we must walk and live in spirit, with a spirit of love, power, and of sound mind. Preparing physically is wise, and there is nothing wrong with it, given we live in a wicked world filled with people who are more prone to do evil than good. Yet, this is exactly why we need to prepare our spirits and get our homes in order, both your own temple and your household. As the days get more evil, and trust me, they will only increase in wickedness, it is your spirit that needs to be sound, strong, and filled with belief and faith, for they are your shield. You may be prepared physically with skills, tents, and all sorts of protection, but without Yahuwah's Torah written in your heart and spirit, you will still perish. In 2 Baruch 54, verses 14 through 16, it states, "And justly do they perish who have not loved your Torah, and the torment of judgment shall await those who have not submitted themselves to your power. For though Adam first sinned and brought untimely death upon all, yet of those who were born from him, each one of them has prepared for his own torment to come. And again, each one of them has chosen for himself glories to come. For assuredly, he who believes shall receive reward." In 4th Ezra chapter 9, verses 7 through 9, it states, "And everyone that shall be saved, and shall be able to escape by his works and by belief, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my Yeshua in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them from the beginning. Then shall they be in a pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments." In Revelation 21, verse 8, it also states, "But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and the murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death." So here we can clearly see what Yahuwah has spoken in his holy word. If you do not believe in Yahuwah, and I am talking about the true and living Yahuwah, not God or Jesus or some other idol, if you do not take the shield of belief and put on the breastplate of righteousness, or take the sword of the Ruach, which you can only get through Yahuwah and his favor on you, then it will never matter how much goods or carnal swords you have. Carnal swords are meant for carnal bodies. The fight the righteous fight is not carnal. It has always been spiritual since the beginning of time. The righteous fight against the wicked, who are ministers and followers of Hasatan, who is a spirit himself. Satan is not a man either. He is a spirit. He is just a deceiving and manipulating and unrighteous spirit that people of this world choose to follow instead of Yahuwah. This is why I want to strongly encourage women who are serious about serving Yahuwah in spirit and in truth to put on the whole armor of Yahuwah. For we cannot serve Yahuwah with our flesh. Flesh cannot serve spirit. And we cannot fight wickedness with our flesh. This is why we must give up our flesh daily and take upon our spiritual cross and follow the Son, Yahusha. Following Yahusha means being obedient unto your man. It means learning to be a virtuous woman and living every day with that virtue. It means leaving the ways of this world behind and separating from all people who despise Yahuwah and reject him, even if they are close family members or friends. Your family is not your own. Your own should be those who seek to love and serve and worship Yahuwah in spirit and in truth, just like you. We must put on the clothing of strength and honor, and make sure the Torah of kindness is in our tongue, for we can only fight wickedness with the truth of Yahuwah and love. Just because the world is evil, and our enemies are evil and treat us with wickedness, it doesn't mean we respond to them with evil. We must respond with what Yahuwah teaches us. At the end of the day, the fight is truly Yahuwah's, for vengeance is his. We are a very small part in the works of Yahuwah, and we must remain obedient and walk in Yahuwah's light. This is why the Word teaches us to work out our own salvation, for you can only control and prepare yourself, no one else. Men have their own duties, and how Yahuwah chooses them and directs them is different to that of a woman. Women are to remain obedient, humble, honorable, and virtuous. If you prepare your spirit and gird your loins and your arms with strength, your speech with wisdom and kindness, your feet in the ways of the Torah, and take hold to the shield of belief and the sword of the Ruach, you will be spiritually sound, which in turn will help you become sound and strengthened mentally, emotionally, and physically. Prepare your spirit to be sound and balanced so that even in the midst of chaos, you can remain calm and faithful to the one who has all power, all strength, and all glory. There is nothing wrong with preparing physically. Just know that Yahuwah is not physical. Physical preparedness is for a temporary time or situation. Spiritual preparedness is what will sustain you and help you endure to the end, for Yahuwah's word will come to pass. If you are one who is part of those sanctified from the beginning, you will be preserved no matter what, because your spirit is naturally going to seek Yahuwah, and you will be preserved whether in life or death. The righteous will be with Yahuwah. This is why our spiritual preparedness is much more important and should be our first priority in these evil days. I hope this message has edified the spirits of those who love Yahuwah and seek understanding of his ways. For I do too. May we give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahuwah the everlasting and his Son Yahusha, who are worthy of all praise. Hallelu-YAHUAH. Shalom.